Alright guys, Delzinski here and welcome to another WWE DVD and Blu Ray review. This time we are looking at the title Batista, The Animal Unleashed. And this title was supplied to me as always by those good fellas at www.dvd.co.uk. This is your best source for all WWE DVD and Blu Ray content. Batista, The Animal Unleashed will be available from the 23rd of June 2014 and you can pick up this title in two formats. You have the DVD version, which is priced at £29.99, and you have the Blu-ray version, which is priced at £34.99. And this title is certificated a 15. Now just to let you know, for this review I was given the Blu-ray version. Now this title is broken up into two discs. Disc 1 is basically giving you an insight into Batista making his return to the WWE after a 4-year hiatus, and we go behind the scenes with the Animal to see what it was like when he came back to Raw and when he came back to the Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh, which he ultimately won. Disc 2 is almost like a compilation of Batista matches. Now for me, the more interesting of the two would definitely be Disc 1, as I wanted to understand what went through the mind of the Animal and the reasons why he wanted to come back to the WWE. Now, this Blu-ray and this DVD definitely gives you that. In fact, it gives you a brand new outtake on the Animal Batista, because I'd heard a lot of things about Batista and how he acts backstage and what he's portrayed as, what he's like. Is he like his in-ring gimmick? Is he like his in-ring persona? And I've got to say, after watching this Blu-ray, he's completely different. You gotta understand, and you gotta split out the two, and you do understand that once you do watch this title. You understand that Batista the man is not Batista the in-ring performer. Batista the man is very different. Batista the man suffers from nerves. He gets worried. He actually felt whether he could actually do this anymore. He was concerned about how his body would be, making the big step to come back after 4 years. He said that as a child, he was the quietest child around. Before he came to the WWE, he had no confidence. The WWE definitely gave him confidence, but he's not one of those outspoken guys in the back. Now, is that the Batista that many of you people out there and many WWE fans would think that you're getting? Because I was always under the impression that Batista was a bit outspoken. Quite happy to sulk if he didn't get his way, but that's not the case. And for me, watching this DVD and Blu-ray, this will give you an understanding of what Batista is all about. Now, as well, where you get to go behind the scenes, you get some talk with one-on-one with Batista, sitting down with him and talking about moments in his career. And obviously the biggest moment with Batista was that he did decide to walk away in 2010. Now we get to understand the reason why he walked away in 2010, and to be honest, his reasons are pretty legitimate. Now, the PG era was coming into full force at that time, and Batista had concerns that his wrestling style, his gimmick, his persona did not fit the PG mold, which I completely agree and I can completely see. He raised his concerns with the WWE. They said that they were moving down into that PG direction, and Batista ultimately said, look, this isn't for me. I'm going to walk away. He decided to make that decision. I can't begrudge him of that, because I think, as a guy that's been and seen the Attitude Era, I've seen the Ruthless Aggression Era, and, now I see the PG era. If that had been approaching and I'd been the sort of performer that Batista was, that hard-hitting style, that smash mouth kind of style, I would have probably walked away as well, because he really didn't fit the mold at the time. So he did decide to walk away, and then we get to listen to Batista about what he actually got up to outside of the squared circle. And this was great. This was really interesting to see what happened to Batista when he did walk away. Now, he did first go into martial arts, and he decided to, kind of hone his skills and learn jiu-jitsu, which led to him getting more and more heavily involved with MMA, and he did indeed have his first MMA match, which he won by TKO. We get to look at Batista in the gym, learning jiu-jitsu, where he actually received a purple belt. And there's kind of a funny initiation which you get when you do receive a belt in jiu-jitsu in this specific gym that Batista was enrolled at, that you have to almost walk the line, so to speak. And what I mean by this is that to go and claim your purple belt, you have to walk past everybody whilst they whip the living crap out of you with their belts. And do you know what? Batista's chest is red raw by the time he gets to the end to claim his purple belt. But the funny bit is he turns around and he's like, well, can I have my purple belt now? And they're like, nah, actually, you got to walk back as well. And they whip the living crap out of him as he walks back as well. It's almost like he spent a whole evening with Ric Flair, and all Ric Flair has done is knife chop the edge out of him. I mean, it's kind of a funny moment, but damn, man, Batista's pretty tough, because he does take a whooping at the hands of these other MMA guys. So we got to see him go back to the gym, hone his skills, become an MMA fighter, if it albeit for one match. But Batista kind of said, look, he wasn't really earning from doing this. All he was actually doing was, doing it for himself, almost like self-gratitude. It was something that he wanted to hone his skills in, and he did it. He succeeded. So then Batista decided to make the move to the big screen, and we get a little bit of an insight of how Batista got there. He'd been in a few minor films, and then he got his big break by being Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. And he said it was a very kind of worrying time because everybody wanted that role. Everybody wanted that big moment, and everyone was trying to get involved and become Drax. But luckily enough, Batista got the part. Now, what I find interesting here is before Batista, had done this and he'd made that decision, he had the seed planted that he did want to return to the WWE. Now, he'd been thinking about it, and his spirit, he's sort of... his conscience sort of got the better of him, and he decided, look, I need to come back. I've still got that urge to perform. And so he did. He made contact with the WWE. WWE put an offer on the table. And Batista made it perfectly clear that, albeit that he would have to promote Guardians of the Galaxy, he wanted to make it 100% clear that he was coming back full-time for that period. So it's not like a Lesnar deal. He wanted to be there every step of the way. He wanted to go on the road with the rest of the guys. He wanted to be treated no different from the rest. And I think that's important, because when you look at guys like Lesnar these days who come back on a part-time basis, you don't always get that. You get these special deals put in place. Batista was having none of it. He just wanted to be there for the fans, week on week, perform and entertain. And that is great to see, because I think there's too much of that when people go away and they're not at all the shows for the WWE Universe. Now, there is one other note I'd like to mention when Batista was away from the WWE, and that is the fact that Batista has a huge love of cars. Most notably, his favourite car of choice is a lowrider, with the hydraulics and all of that stuff. So he's got a huge collection of these cars, and he's actually a member of the Imperial, I think it is. Let me just check the name of that. It is... Yes, the Imperial Lowrider Club. That is what Batista is a member of, and it's almost like a group that have custom lowrider cars. And, what I found amazing was that Batista has got a custom lowrider in the memory of the late, great Eddie Guerrero. And damn, this car is phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Pick up this DVD or Blu Ray just to see it, because it's that damn good. And again, it sort of made me think, damn, Batista, he really does love this business. He throughout this Blu Ray, you get to see how friendly he really is with everybody backstage. There's no animosity towards Batista at all. He even goes to refer to someone like Rey Mysterio as not just being a friend to him, but almost like a brother. So would you imagine that? Because many people just think he's Triple H's boy and that's it. Well, no, he's not. And again, this Blu-ray gives you that insight. So obviously Batista went away, and as I said, you've got to go check out this car. It's amazing. Damn it, it really is. But then we get to see more of the fact that he came back on Raw, and then we go to Pittsburgh for the Royal Rumble and Batista's thoughts and feelings before he actually came out at number 28 to participate in the Royal Rumble match. Now, he was definitely nervous, but things couldn't really have gone the way he thought because everything went wrong on that night before he came out. And what I mean by this is you get to see backstage, first of all, his tights, yep, those famous trunks, they went wrong. The way that they've been designed just didn't quite work, but you'll see that on the Blu-ray. And then to boot, his boots actually broke. Yeah, the zippers on his boots snapped and he had to go and get them repaired, which left him no time to do any warm-up or preparation for the Royal Rumble match. He says it's his own fault, he wasn't prepared, but he said, I'm standing here while people repair my boots, my trunks, and I'm watching the Royal Rumble on a monitor, trying to keep tabs of when I've got to go out there and actually perform. So everything was going wrong, but Batista came out, he worked hard, he put on a hell of a performance, and he did ultimately win the Royal Rumble. Now, Batista does say that he felt very disappointed and kind of upset with that the fans did boo him, but he understands why the fans did it. He understands that this is a new era, it's a Daniel Bryan era, and he understands that the fact that, many people think that he's come back to the WWE didn't warrant that spot that he got, and, he's just come in and he's been straight up pushed. But I kind of felt that at the time. But again, after watching this Blu-ray, I see a different side to Batista. And that makes me think, well, the decision to make him win the Royal Rumble wasn't that bad after all. And what did we get ultimately? We got a fantastic WrestleMania main event. So, guys, this is a very, very good and a very interesting look at the animal Batista. And I mean, as I said, separate the two. Look at the man himself and then look at the in-ring performer. And for me, Batista, he's a good guy. He's humble, he respects the business, he respects the fans, he trains hard, he works hard, he's a big influence in the locker room, he's friends with everybody, and not to mention, in the ring, of course, he is the animal Batista. So there you go, guys. That is disc 1 in a nutshell. That is what you're getting, and it is good. It is great. So make sure you go and pick this up. Now let's take a look on the flip side and look at disc 2. And basically you get a compilation of Batista matches. So I'm going to pick out a few, and I'm going to give you a few that are on this Blu-ray disc. So let's start off with the early matches. You get a World Heavyweight Championship match from 2006 between Batista versus King Booker versus Finlay. Let's bring it forward to 2008. You get a World Heavyweight Championship match between Batista versus Chris Jericho. Then we come forward even more on SmackDown in 2009. Batista versus the best in the world, CM Punk. Almost as such, Battle of the Quitters. I've got a video like that as well, so go check that out. Cheap plug. As well, then move into 2010, an I Quit match between Batista versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. And then coming up to present, 2014, you get to see Batista's entrance at number 28 in the Royal Rumble. And then at the Elimination Chamber, Batista versus Alberto Del Rio. So there you go. They are just some of the matches that you get. And of course, it's a Blu-ray, so you get some Blu-ray exclusives as well. So let's give you a rundown of those Blu-ray exclusives. November 2002, Batista versus Justin Incredible from Monday Night Raw. 2002 again, Batista versus Kane on Raw as well. A match from Armageddon 2003, the World Tag Team Championship match between Evolution, Batista and Ric Flair versus the Dudley Boys. Raw 2005, Batista versus Randy Orton, an Evolution affair. SmackDown from 2005, Batista and Eddie Guerrero versus Eminem. Eminem? Really? Yes, really. No Mercy 2007, Punjabi Prison match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Batista versus The Great Khali. Elimination Chamber 2010, WWE Championship match between Batista and John Cena. Then we have a few moments, a few sketches with Batista. So you have in 2010 the name and the face of the WWE. 2010 again, the infamous I Quit from Batista. And last but not least, the 28th of February 2014, and all I've got to say is deal with it, because that is what Batista has got to say. So guys, if you like the sound of this Blu-ray, then you got to go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description box below to www.dvd.co.uk, and you can jump over and make your pre-order and purchase right about now. For me, it's great. It's a really good one, this one, and it's a good one for your collection. If you're a fan of Batista, you're obviously going to get it. But if you want a better insight into the man himself, I'd say go pick this one up as well. So all that's left to be said, until next time, is please rate, comment and subscribe. And this is another WWE DVD and Blu-ray review. Deal with it! This is Delzinski, signing out.